everyone, I'm Surabhi. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about the audio resources which we use in our household, which are must in our family for me to stay sane, for my kids to keep engaged, and our life cannot be without all these audio resources. And I feel that schooling, homeschooling, leave that part. Generally, parents are not using these free resources to keep their kids engaged, especially in COVID. And I want to share this resource which is free, which is at the click of your phone button, and it has really helped me as a mother, my kids as learners, as well as just being kids. There are a lot of stories I want to tell about these audio resources, how we use and how it has impacted our homeschool as well as family life a lot. So that's all I'm going to talk about today. So let's start with the audio resources which we use in our homeschool or in our family and how it impacts us. So audio resources means we do not use screens. We have our own reasons and it doesn't work in our house. But we use audio devices in our house. We use two audio devices. One is a Google Home and one is this Bluetooth speaker. It's a simple Bluetooth speaker, nothing. We had another one, a smaller one, it broke. So we have this speaker. These both can be connected to your phone. Any phone. So Google Podcast is the app we use, which is free of cost, and YouTube Music, it came recently. We use that also for stories. And yes, these are the two apps which I use on my phone, which are free, and these two devices, Google Home as well as speaker. So how do we use them? How we started using them? Let's start from there. So 2017 is when my husband brought the first Google Home to our home, and I'm not a technology kind of person. I have no idea what it was, but my husband is someone who's like get fascinated by all these gadgets and everything. So yeah, he got it. I had no idea what it is, how we use it, but yeah, he would play some songs for them to dance. He will play just we used it as a speaker. Like Google means home means speaker for kids. He can play music for them, he can play dance with them, everything like that. But my husband was using also Google Podcast, and that is when he told me about podcast. And I learned a lot from podcast because it was all homeschooling based. A lot of podcasts which are homeschoolers. So yeah, it helped. So it came 2018. I have been using it for long. Then there was a time, my younger one, if you know, she's a kinesthetic learner. She's not a reader. She can't sit at one time and focus on a book. It is really hard. And I'm talking about 2018 when she was just barely 4-year-old. So her energy level, her jumping level was much higher and her focus was much less. So that was a time when I really felt as a failure in the sense because I could not make her fall in love with stories. I could not make her fall in love with books. And that is a big sign for me, because before phonics, before reading, before anything, a child has to fall in love with the stories so that he gets attracted to read the books to figure out the stories. So my first step only I failed because my child would never sit with me to read a book. So yeah, I was very, very depressed, you can say, about it. And there was time when I just put all the books away that, I don't know, it's not working out. She would just not listen. And again, I told earlier also, I'm not a natural storyteller. I always read and tell stories. So yeah, that was what it is. So that time, I got to know about a podcast, which is Big Life Kids podcast. It's my, till now, like 4 years, it's my favorite podcast. And that is when we started with that podcast, which has stories, which is completely kids oriented. It's about growth mindset. It is about how you never give up, how you keep trying, how you don't get angry, how you take care of emotions. It was that kind of story theme, but it was the first audio resource which we used. And it was mainly targeted for elder one also, because we were reading about emotions and feelings and everything. But my younger one fell in love with it. She would be doing headstand, jumping, rolling around the floor, or just lying down, and she would be listening to this podcast, which is nothing but stories. The episodes, they're just stories that this happened, that happened, that happened, how the child got angry, what did she do when she got disappointed. It is just stories. But it was then when she would come to me, Mama, what does this word mean? Or she will tell me, I like that story so much. Can you play that story? Again, she's not reading, she's not doing phonics, she cannot do anything. But she is falling in love with the concept of stories. कि ऐसा भी होता है, ऐसा भी होता है. And that is when I realized the power of these audio resources, especially for my younger one who is a kinesthetic learner. And from where our journey started. So slowly we still listen to Big Life Kids because the episodes are still on. Every Friday we get a new podcast, and they listen to it day in, day out. And that's what we have been using for so long. And my child has loved with stories, fallen in love with stories, is going back to books to find the stories. So yes, if your child is young, you don't have time to read aloud. If your child is not ready to sit with you, if you don't have books, even if you say that I don't have the appropriate books for my child, start with audio stories, start with audio podcast. The child has to fall in love with the concept of stories, and then phonics and reading and everything will follow. So it has helped a lot to me for my younger ones, especially in the learning journey of reading, or phonics, or whatever you say, just falling in love with books, all thanks to these audiobooks or audio stories. So that is the first part. Then came the COVID, and again we were completely dependent on our library system in Singapore, which is like a very good thing. We'll get every week, we'll get 20 books and all that. I did not used to have such a big library at my home 3 years back, and then came COVID, so libraries are closed, we can't travel, we can't do anything. Again, I fall back to these podcasts. I fell back to these audio stories. And by that time, we had got the speaker, Bluetooth speaker already. Because why? The speaker does not need a cable or energy resource all the time. We charge it and it's on. But my Google Home always need a connection. So that is one reason we got this one. Because concept is same. I will play the story on my phone and I'll broadcast it to the speaker or broadcast it to Google, whatever it is. And that's how we do it. So now in COVID, we listen to most of the audiobooks on the speaker and on Google Podcast. So in speaker, usually we use the YouTube music. Again, that is free. That is not ad free, but yeah, in between we took the subscription also, because then you can broadcast. There's something like that. So we anyways have a YouTube subscription. YouTube, it is ad free and something like that. So my husband uses it mainly because he studies from YouTube. So we had the YouTube subscription. Now all the stories or all the podcast or everything I can play on my phone and broadcast to the speaker, and starting from Charlotte Web to Pollyanna to Halloween stories to the Library Lion, to the Rainbow Fish, all the picture books, all the kids' picture books, to the big chapter books, even Harry Potter, everything on audio during COVID, till I get like good resource of books for my kids. But yes, in COVID we have survived because of this. Also, how it has survived, because we have a small house. I have 2 kids. I cannot be with them all the time making sure they don't fight, all the time making sure that they are not into each other. So that's what we do. If they are okay, I play common story for them on one speaker, and they sit in that room and they do their own coloring and listen to stories so that I can take some rest. Or if the both kids want to listen to different stories, like one girl is into Harry Potter, one girl is still loves the Julia Donaldson books. So one girl I'll put on speaker, she can go to one room and listen to her stories and do coloring. Other girl will listen to Harry Potter in the living room and do her coloring. So that way in COVID, we have survived mainly because of these 2 devices in our house, because we all need rest, we all need to work. I have my own responsibilities, my husband has his own, and kids have to be engaged. So how? Thanks to all these audio resources we have, and everything is free. Again, apart investing from these things, everything is free. YouTube music or podcast, everything almost free. So that's how we survived the COVID, because of these resources. And third thing is, again, coming back to the Big Life Kids podcast. Big Life Kids is one of the examples, but this is when you want to talk about different conflicting topics which you don't have books for, right? But you still want to discuss that topic. And Big Life Kids was a topic about growth mindset. When the kids are growing, they have disappointments, they have feelings, they have very big feelings. So like that way, say Big Life Kids podcast, it has its own printables, we don't use it much, but still, it talks about yoga, it talks about mindfulness, it talks about countries, it talks about space. So in a way, it has helped my elder one dealing with the emotional part as well as the technical part. Like, again, you cannot teach every topic. I don't have time, I don't have bandwidth, but these podcasts like Big Life Kids or any other one which you find, they talk about many things which you don't have resources for, which you are not capable of. Like, my girl is listening to Tara Tremendous. It's about a super girl. My girl is into magic stories and all, but again, what is the age appropriate book, or what is the age appropriate thing which I want to which she can have, where she can be a super girl? Like, हम super man की story सुनते थे, या Batman की story सुनते थे, या कुछ भी सुनते थे. My girl was showing interest in all these things, and I had no resources. So that's when I came across Star Tremendous. It's about girl, super, like, again, a super girl, but a young girl, which is like, the language is good. It is not, you get it. It's a child kind of Supergirl story. So these kind of so many resources are available on audio version. When you feel, you just search, you just find what kind of thing you're looking for. You're talking about mindfulness, you're talking about yoga, you want to talk about super heroes, you want to talk about magic. There are stories, there are podcasts about everything. So why not use these all resources, because they're easy to find, again. And these, again, I feel, because they're already playing in their mind, and they're all imagining these things. It's not, screen is not involved, so I feel they make much more impact in terms of understanding, comprehension, and imagination for my kids. So that way I'm telling, the content which is available on these audio resources is really remarkable, really remarkable. I'm just like blown away from them. So that is one thing, that these all resources have helped my kids a lot in a growth perspective, or academically, you can say it has helped a lot. The fourth thing I want to talk about is, again, my sanity. I told how we do it. I click on my phone and my kids are in their rooms quietly doing their own work, engaged, not fighting, not creating trouble, and I'm at peace. I'm at peace. That's how I have survived the COVID, and otherwise also. Even when I'm working on my laptop, my phone is playing their stories, and it is all kind of stories. We listen to Cinderella, which is my younger one. She listened to Cinderella, Rapunzel, Beauty and the Beast, all these audio stories, and I just make a playlist, and it plays for like 2 hours. If I tell them that, I'm going to take a break of 2 hours, I can take a nap, I can just focus on something I'm doing. And for 2 hours, I know that for 2 hours it keep playing. They know 2 hours, and as soon as the playlist finish, they know the 2 hours is finished. Yes, mama, we are back. So that way it has helped me a lot to maintain my sanity. You can say that I have survived because of it, and I think all the mothers should use it, because I know it's very hard. It's very hard to keep kids engaged, mess free. I would say mess free, when they do not create trouble, when they're not fighting with each other and not doing a disaster in their room. These audio stories work like magic. They really keep them engaged very productively. So yes, for the sanity of the parents, you should have audio stories. And the last one which I want to talk about is, again, this media thing, that my kids have watched screens. They still watch at time. Peppa Pig, Paw Patrol, Ben and Holly, and all these kind of things. But again, screens don't work for me. I don't approve it much. But still, when kids are very upset, because again, we live in a society where everyone has screens, and we have a lot of confrontation with my kids that why you're not giving us. And I mean, like, again, I'm trying to do something which is not normal in a way, and my kids have issues with it. So I have agreed to this thing, that they can listen to all these Peppa Pig and all these things on audio version. So what we do is, then on YouTube, you have the YouTube to video to MP4 converter. So we download all their episodes of Peppa Pig, Paw Patrol, this Ben and Holly, and all these stories. We download the audio version, we put in this speaker. It has a memory chip, so you can put it that, and they can listen to their Peppa Pig, their Ben and Holly audio version, like other stories. And just that confrontation, or that argument, that we love Peppa Pig, we want to listen to more stories of Peppa Pig, we want to watch more episodes of Peppa Pig, that has reduced a lot. So yes, it keeps, again, it keeps peace in the house, that my kids know a lot when their friends come and they talk about, oh, I watched that episode of Ben and Holly, no, I watched that episode of Paw Patrol, oh, I watched this one. So my kids already know, oh yeah, I know that happened in this story, that happened in that story. So yeah, it keeps a lot of sanity in the house, that the kids fight less, that why we don't give them screens. They understand why we don't give, and why we don't want to have it in the house much. But yes, they are kids. So this audio version of all these all these like kids animation cartoons keep them happy and keep a lot of peace in our house. So that is the fifth way I use. So I just wanted to share that how these audio stories have helped us, and hope you also use these audio stories. They're all free, nothing except the devices, and I hope it makes your parenting journey a little smoother and a little easier. That's all is my intention, and thank you for joining me, and bye bye.